Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Hey you guys, so this is Layla. I want to talk about my first book, The Entertainment of Eroticism. And even though it was my very first book and all the books I've written after that are completely different from this book, it's also one of my very special and dear projects because when I wrote the book, I was at a different place in my life, nowhere near where I'm at today. When I first wrote the book, I wrote it back in 2010 and it got published in 2012. When I first started thinking about the book, now, how did this book come about? When I first decided that I was going to write a book, I read this book called The Coldest Winter Ever, written by Sister Soldier. Before I wrote my book, I had no idea that I can actually write a book. I didn't even like reading. I hated reading. Growing up, when I was a child, I had a problem reading. Sounding out the words wasn't easy for me. I stumbled across words because I would get tongue-tied. I would twist up the words. I couldn't pronounce it properly. Even to this day, I still have those problems, but I have to slow down to actually get the word out. If I talk too fast, the word doesn't come out right. But if I take my time, then I can get the words out. So during my period of elementary, junior high, and high school, I hated to read out loud. I was ashamed of reading in front of people because I felt like I couldn't read. That's how I felt. And that's the thing that I told myself when my brother and I would get into an argument or into our sibling a rival situation. That was his go-to. He would always make fun of my reading. He would say things like, ha ha, that's why you can't read. You're stupid. And if you grew up in some with a mindset like that and you keep listening to that, you start believing it. And I was believing that I couldn't read, not knowing that I was only having a problem with pronunciation. Long as I learn how to pronunciate, then I can actually read. Because sounding out words, I hated trying to sound them out because I felt like I was stupid. I felt dumb and I felt slow. So I wouldn't even try to sound them out. Whenever a teacher called on me in class to read, they would say, okay, it's your turn. And I would be like sitting in class, like shaking, literally shaking, because I was so nervous that somebody in the classroom was going to do what my brother was doing to me and blurt out, ha ha, that's why you can't read, you're stupid. Now, I did have someone do that one time and they never done it again, and the whole class knew not to do it either because I wasn't gonna let you get away with it. Now, what did I do to that person? I don't even know if I should tell y'all what I did, but I did do something to that person, and that person was like, never, ever, ever, ever in their life decided to do that again. So I decided I'm going to do better. I'm going to learn how to pronunciate my words properly, and I'm going to slow down. I'm going to listen to the word, and I'm going to slow down. And what I had to start doing was breaking down the words, because whenever I came across a word that was long or too big, I would have to break down the words in segments. And crazy thing about it is because I was already being taught that. When I was in the fifth grade, I had a teacher. I would never forget her. Her name was Miss Bochet. And she sat and she would come to me and she would say, "Hey, I want you to stay after school today. I'm going to help you on your reading." And for the longest, she would work with me. She would work with me and work with me. So when I was in high school, I had to remember how she was working with me, and I would start practicing what she taught me. And it's so funny how to this day, I am 47. I'm going to be 48 in April. In the next 2 months, I'm going to be 48 years old, and I still use those techniques that she taught me. I don't even know if she's still alive today, but I am grateful for her for sitting me down and teaching me how to pronunciate my words and break words down. So I'm able to be the writer that I am today because of her, and also because God had allowed her to be patient with me and to see what I was struggling with for so long. And you know, when I look at the things that's going on in the world today, it's hurtful because we're all here to help one another. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I am an African American woman, and the lady who took her time with me is a Caucasian white lady. And she didn't give a damn about my color. She said, "I'm going to help you, and I'm going to help you get to where you need to be because I see potential in you. I know that you can read. You just need to learn how to break the words down." She cared, is what I'm trying to say. Teachers don't get the recognition that they should. And for that, I want to say thank you to all you educators out there, because education comes in so many different forms. It ain't just about being in the classroom. It's also about life. And I thank you for teaching our babies. I am very active in my child's life, my son. I'm very active in his life. My husband and I, we would go to the school and we would sit down and talk to those teachers and let them know, hey, if there's anything that's needed for us to help get him on point, tell us so we can work with him at home. I am very adamant about it. And one of my like strongest suit is reading. That used to be my weakest, now it's my strongest. Isn't that something? But that's how life turns. If you get one person to sit there and care and walk with you and talk with you and hold you by the hand and say, "You can do this and let me help you do this." So this is why I do my podcast. This is why I like to write books. This is why I sit and I talk to people who are struggling, and I can see that they can actually overcome the situation that they're in. So when I wrote my book, The Entertainment of Eroticism, it was right after I read that book, The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. And I enjoyed the story so much to where I was able to see myself in her growing up in, her name was Winter, the protagonist in the story. She growing up in the project. I grew up in the project. Being a pretty girl. I was called Pretty Girl. They actually called me that. That was my nickname growing up, Pretty Girl. And actually having people hate on you. She had people hating on her and want to fight her. I had that happen with me too. So I was able to relate to this girl's story. And liking a gangster, somebody who sell drugs. Yeah, I did too. Sorry, but I did. I ended up falling for a freaking guy who sold drugs. I'm not proud of that, but I did. And I related to her story. It sounds so much like mine, except for my dad wasn't a dope dealer. My dad was actually a drug user. And I mean, he overcame that. He's no longer that anymore. But at the time when I was growing up, he was, and he was locked up in prison and everything. So I could relate to this girl's story, and I say, man, I can actually write a story. I can do this. But keep in mind, I still have problems with my grammar. I still have problems with my pronunciation. I still had problems with my punctuations. I was still having problems in that area, but I still told myself I can write a book. I don't care, but I can write a book. And I decided to take myself on that challenge, to take myself up on that challenge. And I did. I wrote this book called The Entertainment of Eroticism by Alayla Theodore. See, Theodore was my first husband's name, and at the time, that's the name I was going by. So it says Alayla Theodore on the cover. And I put myself on the cover of the book. I had myself with a mask, like a what you call that, Mardi Gras, Louisiana type mask, and I was topless, and I had on like some bottoms, and I had myself covered where you couldn't really see everything, but you knew I was topless. You can use your imagination, that type of stuff. And during that time of my life, I was doing print modeling as well as nude posing. I posed nude, and I made money from it. And I'm talking about posed nude for artists, people who painted for a living and sold the paintings to other art exhibits around the world. And I remember one of my paintings being at a $10,000, and I remember them inviting me to the art gallery and everything, and I was like so excited about it. And at that time I was proud of my body because I felt like there was nobody who can shame me anymore. And no matter what, I was going to be proud of myself. So when I got done with the book and I published it and I had a book signing and everybody who came was able to celebrate me in the success. But there was one thing that was wrong with the book that I wasn't proud of. And that thing was I had a lot of errors in that book. My grammar was not great. My pronunciation wasn't great. And I think I even had a few misspelled words. So I felt like that book was just not it. So I didn't promote it because of that reason. And when I met my second husband, my deceased husband, when I met him, I never gave him a copy of my book. I didn't want him with it. And the book, the storyline to me was amazing. And even to this day, I still feel that it was amazing. And it was 3 stories in that book. The first one was Wet. I kind of based it off of my own life situation. And then the second one was called Office Affair. Has nothing to do with me, but it was between 2 women who, one was bisexual, the other one was supposed to be heterosexual but got turned out and became bisexual. And then it was a fatal attraction situation that ended up happening in that storyline. And then the last one was called Dreamer. The reason why I call it Dreamer because I actually had a real dream and I turned that dream into a story. And that dream that I had, now keep in mind, during the time when I was writing this book, I was going through a phase where I wasn't getting any. I wasn't having sex. I was horny all the time. So I started writing out all the feelings that I was feeling into this book. So this book was very explicit. I mean, explicit. Almost like soft porn in the book. Not even really soft porn. It was really porn in the book. And that's how deep I got into that book, because I was so into getting out what was inside of me. And that was another reason why I didn't promote the book, because when I came out of that phase, I was no longer that person anymore. I changed. So I had changed, and so I didn't want people to see me as some sexual being that they can try to have sex with. So I was not going to promote that book. Well, my deceased husband decided to steal the only copy that I had left from my home. And I didn't know he had taken the book out of my home. This was before we got married. I didn't know he had taken the book out of my home. I do remember where I had it at. I had it underneath my TV stand in my bedroom, basically my nightstand. I had it in there, and you can see it if you was by the bed and you looked, you will see it. So I didn't pay attention that it was gone because I wasn't promoting it anymore. And how I knew that he had taken it, one day we got into an argument. Now this is after we got married. We got into an argument, and he said out loud to me, he said something in the lines of,
"We'll be back after a quick break."
"If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel." Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. And that's why you wrote that nasty book. And I'm thinking, what? Hold up. What are you talking about? I never gave you a copy of my book. And I know it's not selling anymore on Amazon. So you didn't buy the copy. So how did you even know that book was nasty, And then I went in my room to go look, and I noticed the book was gone. And crazy thing about it, his cousin recently had sent me a text message, and he said, I forgot that was something that I'm supposed to give you that Nikita told me to give back to you, and it's a book. I said to myself, are we for real right now? You gotta be kidding me. So I was so right. He did take my book. And I told him that. I texted him back. I said, man, I knew he took my book. I ain't crazy. I knew that because that's the only way he would have known that book was nasty. And he say, well, before he died, he had given me this book and told me to give it back to you. And I'll say, okay, well, let me have it whenever we see each other. And also in the back of the book, I have my modeling pictures in that book when I used to model. So some of the pictures are in that book. Now, I'm not nude in the pictures. I made sure of that because I didn't want any of that to come back and bite me and tail. I didn't want someone to be able to say, oh yeah, I remember when you used to pose naked, that kind of stuff. If anyone going to be able to say that I pose naked, I guarantee you they paid $10,000 plus for that picture. I'm going to tell you that now. So I was saying to myself, and it's not a regular picture either. It's an actual painting that somebody did, not me, not a photograph. So I was like, okay, well, of course, it's how long it's been since he passed away? Since 2024. And it's 2026 now. I still haven't gotten that book back. I mean, like, for real. He say, his cousin say he don't know what he did with it. He said, I think I left it at my mother's house in Omaha. When I go back out there, I go get it. I don't have it right now. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I thought about it. I said, you know what? Do I even really want that book back? If you give it back to me, that's fine, because I would use it as a souvenir to put it in a case somewhere and lock it up. But I decided to rewrite the first story of that book. The very first story is called Wet. And like I said, it has a lot to do with my own life. Literally. It ain't completely, take it back. Not literally, but it's not completely my life. But it has a lot of me in it. From where I grew up at. The character Tonya is pretty much me in the story. My first name, like I said, is Tonya. So I based it off that, and the person who's my best friend in the story, Ivory, she's Yeah, I've been through that situation dealing with a person who liked the guy that I was dating, and but not the other way around. I did not date any of my friends' love interests. Anyone they was liking, I was off limits to them. I didn't. They was off limits to me. And that was a girl code that I kept. That was something that I kept, that I chose, that I would never allow myself to do. But I twisted the story and said, what would it be like if I never would have kept the girl code? What would I think my life would have been like dealing with someone that liked somebody that, or that I was with someone that they liked? And, so I kind of put a little twist on it. So I want to give you an idea that when you read the book, the new version that I wrote, what's really going on in it. Now, I never had a fight with my best friend. That I don't really see myself doing, but I did put a lot of things that did not happen in my life in the book, but also put a few things that have happened. So it's a mixture of fiction and nonfiction put together, just to let you guys know. What part is fiction and what part is nonfiction? Hey, you may never know unless you sit and talk to me and I have a book signing, or you just see me and you say, hey, what part of the book, is this part real or not? And I can say yay or nay. But it's a good entertainment, and that's why it's called Entertainment of Eroticism. It's a good entertainment. Now, do it have the same sex scenes in it? Kind of, yeah. But I cleaned it up, so it's not as explicit as the first copy. Because I didn't want it to be so explicit, but I didn't want to take it out either completely 100%, because to me the whole point of the book is entertainment of the eroticism and the wet of it all, but at the end of the book, the very end, the back of the book, you will see photos of me in my modeling years when I used to model. Nothing nude in there, so I'm not naked. And you get to see some of those pictures of when I did my modeling throughout the years, and then you get to see my evolvement, the way I evolved over the years until now, from flight attendant and all that until where I'm at right now. So I would like for you guys to pick up a copy of the book. It's called Wet, The Entertainment of Eroticism by Alayla Theodore / Carol, because it's from then to now. That's why I put my name that way. So it's Alayla, Alaila. Well, A apostrophe Laila. That's how I spell on my birth certificate. And then the apostrophe is on my birth certificate. And then you have the / and then you're gonna put, okay, no, let's change that. It's Alayla with the apostrophe, and then Theodore, Theodore. That's that last name. That's the original last name that was on the first copy. And then / and then Carol, Carroll. That's 2 R's, 2 L's. It's on Amazon. It's also on my website, imagingcoaching.com / books. Stroll all the way down to the bottom and you will see that. And if you do that, and you stroll all the way down to the bottom and you go to my website to purchase the copy from there, you can actually read the first chapter of the book before you buy it. Yes, I made sure that you can read the first chapter. So you can actually read the first chapter of the book for free. And then that can let you know, it's like, man, I want to go ahead and buy the book and see how this plays out. And it's 15 chapters altogether. It's about 255 pages. And yeah, it's juicy. I'm gonna tell you that now. It gets a little juicy, oosey goosey. I mean, for real, you're gonna like it. And for anyone who love romantic novels and you like a little spice with your romance, you definitely gonna like this book. I'm gonna tell you that now. I'm not saying it because I wrote it. I'm saying it because I have listened to this book on audio 4 times since I rewrote it, and I'm like, dang, if I wouldn't have wrote this book and someone else would have wrote this book, I'd be sending a text message or comment or email or something to them saying, man, I really like that book. I would definitely can't wait for you to write another one or a sequel or something to that. But either way it go, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I just really like the storyline. I like how I cleaned it up, and my grammar is better, my punctuation is better, my spelling is better because I went to college. I decided to go to, take myself to college and learn how to write properly and learn how to spell. And then of course you got the computers who can help you spell better too, with AI helping you to write the word properly. I had to write the word properly. I have a problem with sometimes my pronunciation still to this day. Is this exactly how it's supposed to be spelled? Let me get on making sure I spelled that properly, and I read the definition and say, okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So I'm able to do that. And no, it is not AI written. This is my actual story that I wrote myself out of my head, from my own personal information that I've been through in my dang on life. And some of the stuff, of course, I had to exaggerate on some things because I didn't go through it, but I had to make it seem more entertaining. And this is it. I hope you like it. If you do, please write me a review. Get the copy. The book is not that expensive. I got it in ebook, and I also have it in paperback. So get it. Write me a review. Let me know what you think about it. This would be nice. You can write the review on Amazon, or you can write the review on my website, and I will read it. I will read both of them. Okay. So thank you for listening. And once again, the book is called Wet. That's WET. And it has a dash. And it's The Entertainment of Eroticism, the clean edition. All right. Signing out, Layla.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.